we're on the East Coast. Like, why do they have? I mean, I don't know. They put a local news station in my record. I know they do it all the time. What I'm trying to say, getting at Hurricane Hillary. And you know, the first thing I did is just laugh my ass. I'm like, no, who in the fuck? Ain't no national weather. All the government agencies are Democrats. All of them, whether they're supposed to be like for our protection, the feds, the CIA, whatever. All of the human reason, whatever, all of them is a bunch of Democrats. Social Security, all the Democrats. Veteran Affairs, I guess, they're all Democrats. So who? Well, let me look it up. National Weather, what is it? National Weather. I'm not looking that it's gonna say, oh, they're Democrats. What I'm saying is, yeah, National Weather Service. So who in the Fed National Weather Service had the guts to name her? Because I remember when hurricanes were all men named, meaning I remember in the 80s. Yeah, I'm being quiet. What is this? I thought they only came every 17 years. The cicadas. Look at them birds. Because I usually don't see birds. They having a smorgasbord probably. Because one of them right here is dead. You know, whatever. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. The joke I'm trying to make. But yeah, usually you don't hear all of it. But I could sworn 6 years ago they was here too. And that's not 17 years. You know, they go under earth. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. I remember as a kid when they first started naming hurricanes. This really ain't nothing relevant about. Well, maybe it is gang stalking because it's like who had the guts to name this hurricane Hurricane Hillary. I remember, like, wow. Remember, I'm telling you, to me, Hillary, I call it, yeah. It's like Hillary and Scarface. You know, like I said, Trump, you know, he the only one that can still remember that he called her crooked Hillary. Remember I told you why I knew he was telling the truth because in the early 2000s, you know, we were, you know, nighttime, whatever, they were smoking they tweeds and they just started talking about the Arkansas niggas branches that did some work in the 90s that whitewater scandal. But anyway, it's just funny to me. You know, like picking with Democrats, even Hillary. It's like who had the guts? And this is a rare, right? A rare West Coast California hurricane. You know, like I said, I, you know, because Birmingham, we already knew it wasn't gonna be that big a deal. You know, I've been through a lot of hurricanes. You know, Birmingham is hunkered down. By the time it reached Birmingham, it then slowed down to 90 or maybe 100. But at the coast is 150, all that shit. But also another reason it's funny because I'm making a sexist joke. As a kid, I remember it's not sexist. I'm making fun of woke people. Is what I'm saying. I remember the reason they changed started naming both Hurricane Carl, you know what was one up north in Jersey a couple years ago? It was real bad in Jersey. Hurricane something. It was a male name. I forgot. But I remember because the feminists started complaining. I don't know how old I was, maybe like 10, 12, 11, and they're like, why the hurricanes always, because I ain't never even think about it. It was always Hurricane Martha or Hurricane something. And because it really did shock me, like, after all them hurricanes, even by the time I was only like 10 or 11, 84, I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, huh? And the feminists, they were like, oh no, you always name it. Why a destructive force? That's why I'm laughing. But we used to hurricane, whatever the name's and I'm not mean. I'm telling you. What I'm saying is this shit is absurd. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, why the female hurricanes always, like it's like that because if y'all women was mad about it, y'all know y'all was up there tearing up shit, and this was back in the day, the 50s, 40s, because that's when it was the joke on the cartoons with the black frying pan. The wife beat and the dough roller. All this who was kids in the 80s, we remember the dough roller for cookies and all that shit. And that's a woman. She it is so they was getting tired of her, I guess. But
Weather Service is
this
warning
is
from
what I
Lake
was thinking
Charles the
about. My joke.
onslaught of Hurricane Barbara. And if you think naming a destructive storm after a woman is sexist, you obviously have never seen the gals grabbing for items at a clearance sale.
That's true, but he shouldn't say it. We better pick.
And that's I'm also thinking of that. But what I'm saying is they've been naming hurricane now. If they switch, right, they alternate. Next hurricane is a male name, Hurricane David. Whatever. But you see this. But now that it's Hurricane Hillary, I was like, who in the fuck got the nuts, the guts to say Hurricane Hillary? And you might be like, well, people gonna die. That I don't know. Shouldn't they have enough warning?
To quickly stand up with our partners as needed. And finally, the Emergency Medical
I'm
Service Authority has asked.
I'm not laughing at the destruction of a hurricane. I'm just like I said, as a kid, I didn't understand. Not I didn't understand what was going on. I understood they were mad about all, and I mean this was before the Simpsons. Like I said, so when I saw that episode, I think I was a teenager, probably the '90s. But I'm talking, this was in the '80s when they were, that discussion, and they started changing hurricane names to men and women. I just didn't. To me, I'm like, yeah, I never thought of that. Meaning, because even I think even back then, I'm like, aren't y'all worried about influencing kids, and kids are gonna think women are, this and that? I'm like, I never thought of that. I never cared. Is Hurricane so and so, Hurricane whatever, Hurricane Louise. I never said, oh, that means women are mean and evil and destructive. No, it, you know, most smart kids didn't care. It was a hurricane. It's like who even thought? It's like it's like none of us would even thought about it until you brought it up. If you wouldn't have brought it up, nobody would have thought about it. So it's like when somebody accused somebody of cheating, and they're like, what? If you wouldn't have brought it up, I wouldn't even thought of that. Now you think they cheating. Like, why would you bring that? You see what I'm saying? It's bringing up something that the other people didn't even think about. You brought it up and made a big stink about it. It's just like now, 3, 4 years ago, all that racism is like, what? Nobody even thought about that. What the hell are you talking about? It's some crazy people brought some shit up, and now you got, this and that. But my point is, I just was like, who got the guts to say Hurricane Hillary? Going around heard jokes about Bill Clinton. He wouldn't have been with Monica Lewinsky if Hurricane, if Hillary really would have been blowing. You gotta think about it, that's what Monica, all the types of jokes. It's like, ooh, in this political whatever climate, tracking hurricane. This is what I'm saying. It's just hilarious. And like I said, immediately I thought about The Simpsons. You know, and like I said, but as a kid, when they first started talking about it, this was before The Simpsons was even invented. And just like everybody who say, "Oh, I was a Simpsons fan," It's kind of like Tupac. I was listening to Tupac back in '91, like, yeah, way back, before he did Digital Underground. The Simpsons kind of the same thing. Because I really was. I know everybody nowadays, everybody lie. Tracy Ullman. Yeah, I was watching it on I did because, like I said, that's why I'm so funny. My whole life, I saw the original Saturday Night Live as a kid when you're trying to stay up, fighting sleep, 5 years old, 1979, Chevy Chase, all of them, Eddie Murphy. They were still on the show. I remember the skits. I remember the John Belushi was still on. I remember the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk skit, uh, where he was like, "What are roses?" I remember repeating that to my friends. Daytime. What do you smell like, roses? Yeah, because the Hulk went and took a shit at a party. It was all the superheroes, and John Belushi was the Hulk. And he comes out the bathroom, but it's on YouTube. But I remember as a little kid repeating that joke. Because that means all my other friends saw it too, or at least most of my little group. So my point is, what I'm trying to say, I remember when Tracy Ullman was, it didn't. I knew about skit comedy shows. And Tracy, that was like 87, 88, and so I saw the original Simpsons. Nobody knew. And then they became. That's when Fox was brand new. They're like, oh, and then because I remember when they got the NFL. Because it was a big deal. It was on like Entertainment Tonight, and also the news as far as the stock, buy stock, because now Fox Corporation is now, and most of us, we all knew Fox our whole lives from movies, old movies, black and white, yes, but Fox is now into, so you knew by like 88, you're 13, 14, you knew what Fox was, but they're coming in the TV. My point, all this is about Hillary. All this is about the Hillary joke. Is like, who in the fuck got the guts to name a hurricane? So I'm gonna play it again. I know I love this part.
Brace ourselves for the onslaught of Hurricane Barbara. And if you think naming a destructive storm after a woman is sexist, you obviously have never seen the gals grabbing for items at a clearance sale.
And see, I always loved that because it was later in my life, and it was kind of like I was older, and it's like the hurricane. Because I'm like, I remember that. I'm not laughing because it's a Simpsons and I think it's funny. It's like I remember that as a kid, the pro or whatever it was, they did some kind of protest. And since it was New York City, maybe it was local, but they made the whole nation change, or the whole world actually. Probably some New York feminists made the whole world change and not name every single hurricane after women. And I remember thinking, I never even thought of that. It's like I knew they were like, oh, the little boys, they gonna grow up misogynistic. I ain't know that word, but I got the vibe of what they were doing. And it's like, no, nobody thinks that. Nobody cares. Like, oh, yeah, that unnecessary feminist shit. Woke shit, all of it, or the feminist, the woke dude, same thing. Well, feminist, yeah, it's like, no, we're not mean like that. It's like, y'all worried about shit. Nobody has to worry about making up shit. Yeah, a crisis, creating a crisis. But anyway, like I said, I just wanted to laugh at Hurricane, whoever. Give a thumbs up to whoever named her, who had the guts to name Hurricane Hillary. Hurricane Hillary.